actually talk about this Avaya stuff and the Genesis Pure Engage Cloud, and then a little bit
Mm,
about these two topics,
mhm.
like RabbitMQ update and then the config file, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So with the Avaya, um, let me bring up my code. Yeah. So I mean, in general, HVA has a like a common framework for Avaya and Cisco and Genesis. Basically, it works in the form of commands. So for Avaya also, we have a class called Avaya commands, and that's the starting point. And how Avaya is going to be decided, Avaya or a Genesis or a Cisco, how it's going to be set, that based on the server type config that we can talk about later. Yeah. So now now we know that, okay, we are going to work with Avaya system, and we want to make those agents ready, not ready. Like maybe in case of for chat also, we want to make them ready and not ready. So for this, Vladimir, I kind of looked into the implementation and the Jira ticket. So this Avaya is complete. The Avaya implementation is completely the HAR file based. So let
And
me.
the car file is for Avaya or
Yeah.
what version of Avaya we're basing on at WWG?
Uh, um, it is a part of that ticket. Let me open up that Avaya ticket. They sent us the PDF document. Um, somewhere they did mention the version. I think it's something like 9 point or me that, yeah.
No, I mean Avaya Oceana.
The Avaya Oceana access and the lab, and somewhere they did. I think it is 9 point something. Avaya.
Not 8.
Oh, maybe 8. Somewhere
Because nine is just coming.
recent.
We used to be with 7. Now it's 8, I guess. But
Okay.
just to mention that it's for now it's not like too generic.
Gen Too
It
generic.
might
Yeah, it will
need to
work.
be significantly reviewed in case it's a different version of like messaging. So the new HAR file will need to be collected and compared with the current one, and with that, if it's different, then it needs to be incorporated in this code.
Correct.
And the HAR file itself is where.
The core file is right now. Himanshi used to email me, so
Mhm.
I created one folder in my local machine. I can share this file. So
Maybe you
basically,
could move it to some like shared folder.
sure, yeah. I can. Maybe we can create one folder in that shared machine
Yes.
that lab built. And
Yes.
then I will copy most of these documentation, the HAR file. Maybe I can name it like it's Avaya related and Genesis related, things like
Yeah,
that.
it says to call it like Sankar KT, and inside that it just use those like folders.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Avaya
So,
versus anything else.
uh-huh,
HVA and the HVA Avaya, and then maybe
right.
and that transformer or whatever else
hmm
is remaining.
Sure, yeah.
Just
So,
organize it this way.
y- sure, yeah.
Please.
So yeah, basically what we have to do is what we did is as you explained, we basically go through the HAR file. We understand the sequence, then that's how basically we are locking in the agent. So maybe I can share the code now, and then I can kind of explain. So here the login. This like execute command and all this thing is same for almost all the system, either it is Genesis or a Cisco or a Avaya. The skeleton of or the prototype or the skeleton code remains same for all the three system. So that's why I'm directly jumping into the login. So here in the login, what we do is like, yeah. So these are the first call that we are going to make. The first HTTP request is going to be this one, get Avaya server params. So this is like, as I said, from the HAR file, we understand what HTTP get or a post need to send. So first, in this scenario, Avaya case, it is a first method is going to be a get method, and based on that get method, we have to extract these details to proceed to send further request, like either get or a post, and that all is going to be extracted out of that a HAR file. So yeah, so here like we get like client ID is needed, and the session ID is needed, the state is needed, and the response type is needed. And once we get the basic parameters, then we go into the actual login, and where that is going to be, it is a post, I guess. Right here. Yeah, it is a post. So in the post, so we need to pass this data that we extracted in the previous call, like client ID, the state, redirect URI, and then of course along with username and password. Once that passes, then we need to extract some more data from that response, like authorization URL, authorization session ID, and that will be used in the following calls, like authorize. So to get the login, to get completely the agent logged in, we need to call this method. I mean, get workspace with core, and then get workspace, and then yeah, that's it. So this entire sequence, because this is again like Vladimir explained, it's case by case basis. Now this is Avaya based on Avaya Oceana workspace. Now if some other customer uses a different workspace or a different client application, like a desktop application, about how the agent can log in and all that, then this code is not going to be useful. Maybe it will help the pattern, but the entire things needs to be rewritten based on that HAR file pattern, like that different workspace or whatever.
But Sankar,
So
just remind me, please. Do they have any SDK? Maybe not like .NET based, but at least something in Java. So if we
for
just to
yeah
know,
for Avaya
actually yes.
they have something based on like a JavaScript and browser based,
Mm-hmm.
um, which we did not experiment a lot with that. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Um, so
Uh-huh.
yeah. So that's why in the login method, if you see, like I'm calling this Avaya param, and then I'm calling this login method and get workspace. And then in one of the method, it will also give us some details about the WebSocket URL. Avaya basically sends the callback via WebSocket, whereas Genesis sends through some notification mechanism, and Cisco sends through XMPP. So in this case, like a WebSocket. So that WebSocket, we wanted to keep it open. We wanted to keep it open till the session ends. So we create some sort of a timer for every 30 seconds. We make sure that that WebSocket is like open, so that um, whenever the agent state changes from ready to not ready, or not ready to talking, sorry, ready to talking, or like chatting, or whatever state, yeah, all that state changes, and whatever decision they make as a agent, if they update, like after the call ends, they may put some notes, like a call wrap notes or something. All that information will come back to us through this WebSocket. So this is the entire flow of login. And the code is almost straightforward, like the straightforward in the sense it will be reverse engineered from that HAR file. The HAR file, I'll put it in the chat.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So the agent desktop is Avaya Oceana, is it? I mean, what is the name of
Mhm.
this
Avaya
agent?
Oceana. Avaya
Okay.
Oceana. Yeah.
Okay, so what we did is like in a customer place when we run that application, or in the lab we run this application and
Mhm.
see the, I mean, record the HAR file and implement the things. Is that correct?
Correct. Correct. Exactly. Yeah. So right now, this is that Avaya Oceana workspace. Now let's say this is with Verizon customer. Now let's say Avaya, we wanted to deploy it in some other location. They may have a different, desktop client or a different URL, and luckily, if the login pattern also, if it not remains same, then yes, yeah, we have to collect the HAR file and then extract out all those HTTP GET and POST requests, and then send them in a sequence manner and collect the required details and proceed till the login.
Sankar, correct me if my memory is failing here, but initially we were given some cloud-based lab where we actually troubleshooted the code. We collected one HAR file in there and we made it working in that lab. Then everything was moved to a real production lab, or
Right.
the place where the codes were conducted. And in that lab, we had to make some minimal, but important changes
Right.
based on
Right.
the
Yeah.
HAR file collected in that lab, because something was slightly different comparing to that, I don't know, QA lab or whatever they gave us initially.
Right. This one, the framework version got changed. I think earlier they were using a different version, and then when we moved our code back into their environment, this framework got upgraded. I think it was like 2.0.0 or something, and then they upgraded. And this URL is dynamic because we will get it from their response. Okay. So if they upgrade this framework internally, then our code is not going to work because we are extracting this URL from their response, and that's dynamic. We can't even make it like configurable or something. So yeah, this was the one that we found, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's why that's why like the emphasis is on like the car file. The car file is if they change, for example, like if they upgrade anything, even in the Oceana workspace itself, like when we developed this on like in 1.8, right now we are in HVA 2 point something. So even if we go back and deploy this HVA for the same customer, if they upgraded their Avaya Oceana workspace behind the scene, then this will give trouble. Like, if anything changed in this URL format or URL structure, that will all be a big question. So
Some
in the
tips,
first,
maybe, or like troubleshooting techniques in here. Let's
c-
say we don't know about the update. We come with this code. We try to log in. We fail.
yeah,
Obviously, how you gonna proceed immediately?
right.
Collect the
When we,
HAR file, or you have something printed out and you can say,
we
oh,
yeah we lock pretty much all the response back into our log. So for example, from the get workspace, we lock this entire response. Okay, from this response, we also log the cookie headers, I mean the HTTP response header and the request header. Um, from that, we can find out, what we have it in our code and what data they are sending it from their side. And we compare, and then if there is a difference, and that's how, we troubleshoot this.
so we don't need to immediately jump to collecting a new HAR file and comparing HAR files. We can still use some login initially. Hmm.
Correct. Yeah. For the existing customer, no. Yeah. If it is a new customer and if they are using a different version and different the workspace setups and things like that, then yes.
Hmm.
But otherwise, yeah. Yeah. And the same logic for the same logic for the so basically what is happening is once the agent is
Shankar,
logged in.
uh,
uh
Is it possible to see that workspace or, I mean,
Mm, Yeah, we don't have a local lab. Actually, we have to act the when we developed this, the Verizon set up their the lab and they shared the credential with us. So yeah,
Only
so
for the
this
time of this project.
project, correct.
We were given some time in the lab, and then we were given some time in the production jump boxes, or how they call it. And then they conducted their testing. They were satisfied, and unless they kind of decide to continue working with us, we don't have any access to any of
okay.
those labs anymore.
Okay, so this has been already developed and it has been working in some production, correct?
They needed to run some testing, yes. So they
Right.
had some kind of combo of, I believe, Avaya voice and chat and Cisco voice and chat. So in production, they conducted all the testing for voice and chat, and then it's called WWT, World Wide what? I don't remember what that T means.
Yeah, I
Some
think
kind.
yeah. Somewhere they documented. I think it is like worldwide telecom or you know. Yeah, Verizon network, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Without asking the all those like project managers to. I don't know whether they can give us that access if we work for a different customer. Also, they do have those labs, and at the end they were present to tell them exactly when we were done with that in that first development lab, because they needed to repurpose the equipment for some other tasks not related to us.
Correct. Yeah, they did ask confirmation from us and they tear it down. Yeah.
So it took some time for them to set everything up. I technically it could be repeated, but only if they're interested in the results
Yeah.
of that. Not like some free lab.
Right. So yeah. So with Avaya, once we successfully log in, this WebSocket connection is established, then we are good. After that, the focus completely switches back to this WebSocket class. Here in the WebSocket class, like we basically handle each and every message, like in the on message handler. Like when we create a WebSocket object, we pass that URL that we retrieved from that response, and then we have these handlers like error, open, and the message. In the on message, we have pretty much like all the we get like all type of callbacks. Like if it is a voice enabled agent, we would get like a user state, acquire and activate. And if it is a chat enabled agent, then we will get like interaction media related messages. Interaction indicates that the chat agents, and then the interaction media kind of says that what kind of a message they are typing back and forth, you know. So yeah, so this is all again, the format and everything. We will have to reverse engineering it or decode it from that car file. When we do.
Just one
Uh-huh.
question.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Do you by any chance have some like reference log
Uh-huh. Yeah,
files
yeah. I'm going
that
to
could
share
be
some.
also shared in that chat folder, so we
Uh-huh.
could
Sure, sure.
see
Yeah.
from the log
Yeah.
file?
Yeah. I think I had some messages. Yeah. So like for example, like the chat received message, you know. Uh,
So
okay.
ideally, that plus some log file that shows like the entire sequence, like you
It,
connect, you get that environment
mhm.
variables, and everything is printed. Then you start chatting, you go to WebSocket, etc., etc. So it was
R-
kind of
Right. Yeah. So
If
this
you
is one
scan
of.
that, just dump it to that.
Oh, this entire
Device.
message. It's
The,
a
the
huge.
the the HVA log file with, if you had something.
No, HVA log file. Let me check. I don't think I have a HVA log file in there. Uh, no,
Don't look
no
at
log.
that right now, but if you find something for
Sure,
Avaya
sure.
and for anything that actually could be used as the reference.
Mm-hmm. Let me open this one. Let's see. Okay. So here. Okay. Okay. So here. So we can go through the log. This is their Avaya Oceana workspace URL, and then before we come here, okay, and then yeah, for every 30 seconds we send. If you see in this log, this will be sent every 30 seconds. So it was like uh, 23 6:30 23, and then this would be 6:30 53. So
Skip
23 by
alive.
50. Yeah,
That
keep alive.
message X.
Yeah. We want to keep that WebSocket connection open, right? So every 30 second we send like the keep alive messages, send X and so on. And then this is where those messages are like in the on message. Like in the on message, we received the notification type is error, so we don't care. If the notification type is something else, like, okay, this is all error, I think. See here, notification type is user state. So we wanted to process that message. Um, if the notification type is interaction context, maybe it will tell us like somebody's like typing and
It's
say
analog to that dialog.
right. Analog to the dialog in Cisco. Correct. Yeah. So that, yeah. So yeah, so pretty much, if you see in any of those requests, like, I will print, I mean, not I, but like the code is printing pretty much everything, what is the current state, what is the client session ID. The client session ID is going to be unique per agent, per session. So all that details can be, reconciled back to agents and, when we are troubleshooting and all that. So only thing is that when we are going into a troubleshooting mode, we just wanted to enable the logging level to a debug level, and then we get like more detailed logs and then troubleshoot it. So yeah, that Vladimir can explain. Like this is like a component, and this is like a method, and this timestamp, like it's in yeah.
It's good because that
Yeah.
gives the whole picture.
Correct. Yeah. So this is the log is a very important thing. Like I mean that is the base for the troubleshooting. Most of the production environment, the customer environment, we will not have much idea what's going on and all that. So yeah. So back to here. So this is that method, and as soon as we log out, the WebSocket connection for that particular agent will be closed. And then to open it again, the agent have to relog in, and everything changes, like session ID, everything changes, and it'll go from there. So yeah, that's of course it's pretty basic. So yeah, just yeah. So within this, we bundle everything like sending data to sync server, processing like the user state messages and the user chat messages. Like chat messages are being processed here, like interaction. Yeah, here like typing and whatever, yeah, whatever we have. Based on that, we need to update the GUI and then provide the statistic, like how many agents are chatting concurrently and how many of them are talking, all that information. That information is based on these callback updates. So yeah, so the entire implementation for the Avaya chat and Avaya voice, it's in these two classes, like the Avaya chat and Avaya command. The Avaya
So
WebSocket.
one question, I mean, at any point of time, they can take either a voice call or chat call, or they can do both.
It's either or. I mean, yeah, not both, right, Vladimir? One,
Yeah, we
the gen,
usually tell customer that either one, not both,
no,
because
okay.
we have like even from the we have like say in our GUI it is implemented the way so we can like send, let's say, login ready, not ready, log out commands, so like a combo for both. They serve both chat and voice, so it's we there was no such task to make them like running both voice and chat. So it's we have some parameters shared between those two, between voice and chat, both internally and in GUI. So it is not well separated at this point. So that's why we cannot simultaneously conduct voice and chat, and nobody
Yeah,
needs that at this point.
So only
yeah,
voice only. We don't support video and email and all, correct?
Yes, only voice.
Okay.
yeah,
But
well,
there
yeah,
are talks that there will be email added to chat and some maybe other types of communications. From the HVA perspective, it doesn't really matter voice versus video, but we have also to support that on Hammer, that video conversation, if because the in case of voice, normally the Hammer acts at the soft phone, agent soft phone, so it needs to be. Voice is also present, but it's never. I'm here for 7 years, never seen that anyhow actually
Okay.
used. Or
So
yeah.
so then this HVA it work only for virtual agent, not for voice. And voice maybe, I mean, the customer will use their own device like phone, correct? Or Hammer only will use for voice.
for chat, we don't need anything because chat is inside that HVA. For like in case of voice, yes, they normally they use Hammer, the like combination of soft phone stations.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
the most common use case for HVA is like this, like load testing, like let's say call center or some sort of thing. If they wanted to ramp up from 300 agent to let's say 500 agent or 500 to 1000 agents, they wanted to do their load testing with that many agent and they simulate it. So yeah. So like if for voice agent, they set the call behavior, like the total call duration is only 3 minutes. So the call comes, the agent will wait for like 3 minutes and then release a call. Or if they wanted to do some transfer and so on, all that will be simulated as a call behavior. And then that's it. So complete, like
So
500.
here for here Hammer will be there or it won't be there.
Yes. Hammer will place the
Hammer
call.
and okay.
Yeah.
So Hammer will place the call and for agent side phone, how it will work? Hammer only
The
or
agent, call play right, Vladimir, call placing is like from Hammer and the call receiver is like a HVA, and then how to answer,
no,
how to react, all that is configured in the HVA side, and it will basically give the graphical view of dashboard, like
No, no,
how
no,
many
no, no. So we have some like dialer, which in like almost 99% cases, it's like a dial hammer, let's say it. So it places a lot of calls, and on the receiver side, they have like agents with their soft phones. Soft phones is another hammer, receiving hammer, and the HVA acts of the agent console, right? So
yeah, state percentage.
they configured the way so in order for the call to be delivered to the agent soft phone, the agent has to be logged in and ready, and the soft phone, the agent's soft phone has to be registered with the system. So let's say in case of Cisco, it will be finesse for all those like agent-related manipulations, finesse, and the CUCM for the voice-related for all that like messaging, etc. So they work together, finance and CUCM. So and a bunch of other Cisco companies associated with those two major ones. So the call comes to the system, agent gets alerted that the call is coming. So the HVA sees if there are available agents ready for the call will be routed to one of the agent that belongs to some queue, or there might be some kind of business logic provided by the customer. So let's say those calls dialed at this phone number will be routed to the customer support agents. So it will be routed to this queue versus some like other queue that represents some different organization or agents with different skills, or maybe like more skilled agents versus less skilled agents, etc. So for their own purposes, they can play with those rules. But when the call comes to this queue, it goes to the first available, meaning ready agent, and if there is if it is not ready, it will wait in this queue. If the agent is ready, the call will be like the actual call physically will be delivered, and if the configuration is set to auto answer, it will be automatically delivered to the soft phone, and the agent will switch, the finesse will switch to, let's say, to the talking state, and we will get that notification saying that the agent is talking. If it is not out answer mode, then the agent through its console, which is HVA with its script, it will have to on getting some alerting notification, meaning that the phone is ringing. On that notification, the agent should answer the call. So that actually kind of simulates pressing the answer button on the agent console. So for that, we have that command in the behavior script. When we press answer, the call gets actually delivered to the soft phone and automatically answered by the hammer. And actually, the calls is
So the soft phone is hammer only.
yes. It could be something else easily,
Okay.
but for like our testing, it's always hammer. For maybe like troubleshooting of the HVA in some hypothetical lab, maybe in a Cisco cloud lab, it could be the Cisco or whoever native device instead
Zappers,
of
yeah.
the soft phone, even hard phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So how hammer will place the call? It is a in the call is going through the service provider, or basically it is a on-prem, or it is a cloud application. Will I mean? I mean, where the HVA will be, it will be in cloud or it will be in on-prem?
It could be both, right? It could be on-prem, and another one is called
Hybrid.
that uh,
HVA
hybrid
hybrid cloud.
camera could be like
Yeah.
both. We still should have something installed on premises, right? But
Yes, yes.
the GUI of that main, let's say, HVA can be deployed in the cloud, and it represents essentially mostly GUI, mirroring that actual HVA GUI. Right. For that, we will need maybe Salinger to explain how it all talks to each other, right?
Correct, correct. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Colin Hammer could be like in cloud, or no, normally it's in the cloud. It dials to some, I don't know, phone numbers, one maybe even 1-800 number associated with that call center.
Or direct agent number, direct the extension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If it has a direct access. Yeah. If there are not IVR routing and all.
Mm-hmm.
Call route. Yeah.
So sometimes
So
they simply need agents to be able to place calls, and what they really interested in is the voice quality. They measure extensively the voice related parameters, all that they run some voice quality scripts on receiving Hammer, and make all sorts of measurements, and make that maybe call recordings, recognize speech, etc. And they only need agents to be able to make them ready, and to make those agents receiving those calls. But sometimes they need to check the agent-related equipment, like how many finesse they have, what is the highest possible load of agents, actively changing their states under the load, like end of shift, beginning of shift, when they like how many agents they need to maybe to support that kind of load. So in this case, it's more like agent-centric test rather than voice quality-centric test. Okay,
yeah,
Shankar.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I may show some demo on that, how to place a call to Genesis agents and send data to sync server tomorrow or day, Monday or sometime. I'll set up some small lab and configure like a couple of agents, because for a sync server we need that demo. So I can kind of show you. Yeah, I can kind of show you like how Hammer can place a call to Genesis agents and so on. Yeah.
And also, if you have a functionality matrix like for Avaya, what are the functions will work for voice and chat, and for Genesis and Cisco, it will all be also great. Do you have
We
anything like that?
No, we just we can
yeah,
demo only.
go. Yeah,
Only.
so
No,
we have
no.
some online helps that might help, but that's again a very higher level, like what we support. Like we support voice in this version, we support like chat in this version, some troubleshooting techniques, that sort of a things we have it in the online help. I'll invite like Dheeraj on to Monday to show some demo on that. Yeah. So, but there
No,
is
why I'm
no.
asking this is because like if you take chat, do we only support chat conversation, or any uploading of images, or any uploads and downloads, something like that? Do we
No,
do,
no, no.
or
Just
okay,
exchange of chat text messages.
Text
okay,
message, correct? Yeah, text message, right?
And
We
it's
only
like
support.
automated. You can what is going on, the chat generation tool keeps sending some preset messages in some like messages in some configuration file, like the chat generation tool will always say hello, hello, hello to each and every agent. And when it comes to the HVA would mirror that message back automatically, or it could be something with some prefix or suffix, like you say hello,
Agent
maybe
ID, yeah,
user one,
user
and
one,
the
yeah.
agent will respond hello agent free on that. Hello, it will mirror that hello user one and add underscore agent free, so we could probably somehow correlate that. It's not anyhow exposed to GUI, like, and you don't have
Customer, yeah.
you're not able to like manually enter messages as you normally do when chatting.
Yeah,
So they
everything we
need
can
to
find it
see,
in the
like, to
log. Yeah.
create some traffic and see how it actually, how the HVA can, I mean, how the system can handle that kind of traffic. They don't worry about the like content of that chat at this point. Could
Yeah,
be some abracadabra, blah blah blah.
Okay.
that's why, like,
So if you have a demo, it's been grateful.
Yeah, that's why, we call it like a virtual or simulation. So, so it's not real chat or a real voice. Yeah. Yeah. So. Okay.
Okay.
So there are any other question? We're good.
No, so actually for I think Genesis, they have the API. For this one, we are doing simulation only using the what is that
HAR file.
file, and for a HAR file, and for Cisco also it's HAR file, correct? Or Cisco we are using the Finesse API.
Cisco for a chat, for a SSO enabled chat, we use like a HAR file approach to get the SSO token. After that, we use API.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
just
no,
to
no.
collect.
Okay. So only
For SSO voice.
Correct. Yeah, SSO voice. Yeah, not for
You
chat.
said
Yeah.
SSO chat.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. SSO voice.
so SSO voice, it is a HAR file. Other than that, it will be normal.
No, it's
Finesse API only.
Yeah, we for Cisco voice, we had like API, and we had a library from the third party for getting and XMPP notifications. That's what we had till probably a month ago. Recently, we got a customer who wants to who had that SSO authentication, and we had to add that HAR-based SSO messaging on the top of that, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they do expose the API to get the SSO token. We tried and that was not working. I think Cisco SSO implementation is also, I'm not sure, maybe they're starting it out because there may be some changes, I think, coming in. Yeah, but Cisco chat is completely HAR file based. Yeah, voice is like a mix of HAR file and API, only for the exception for the SSO, but Cisco chat is HAR file based. Correct, Vladimir? Like,
yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
So Genesis
I mean,
is pure API.
Mhm. Genesis is a pure like SDK library. Like
Okay.
we download the DLL, we reference it in our code, and then we follow their commands, like whatever syntax and all. Yeah.
Both voice and chat.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is for voice and chat. We use the HAR file only.
Yeah. Avaya a completely HAR file. Yeah. Both voice and chat.
Okay.
So yeah. So I guess we are good with the Avaya part. Now we can move on to that pure engage cloud. This one was, it's only coding is in place, not tested. Both voice and chat, none of them are tested because we are still in the process of setting up this pure engage cloud locally in the sense like in Infovista lab. So that is still in progress. I think based on customers demand, anytime that can become a priority. So yeah, so let me I can kind of what did we follow like the like we all know like Genesis has different flavors of like Genesis pure engage, I think cloud, and then they have a multi-cloud. I think they have so many way to expose their system, backend system. So for Genesis Pure Engage, luckily they had the well-defined libraries and libraries for both like Java and C Sharp, and we were able to use that and achieve it for Pure Engage. But for Pure the cloud one, this is the documentation they provided. So basically, they provided the steps, and there are two approach. We can use their REST API, and then we have to implement their callback mechanism using this Comet T approach. We can simply follow this approach, but this Comet T implementation, own implementation, all that, they said that it is complicated. So that's why they encapsulate, they developed it in Java, and they actually exposed as a part of like open source libraries that we can use it to interact with the Genesis cloud-based agents. Okay, so here like um, mainly we need like two or three APIs. One is authentication API, and then another one is some workspace API, and then yeah, workspace API, and then for chat, of course, they have a different one, chat API. So let's go into this workspace API. So they
And chat
so
is
here
not implemented at all, right?
chat
What
actually
is?
the library part of the chat is modified, and we have the API, but it's not hooked up to the HVA at all.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah, yeah, correct. Uh-huh. So so like I said,
So if we
we can
if we ask to create that chat portion, we need to start from scratch essentially for
scratch, yeah,
this.
from the scratch. But now we also have a decision like whether we wanted to use REST API or client libraries. I mean SDK or REST API. If we take the direction of like the SDK approach, then we have a class in that whatever class that I'm using it for, whatever library I'm using it for voice, the same one can be used. The same one can be used. There is a separate class for chat. um, there may be some issues like because it was ported from Java. That's a different issue, but there is a provision in the library itself right now. So yeah, so here they basically they're walking through, like first you do the authentication and get the token. Once you get the token, then set up some kind of a comment notification, so that like if the agent is successfully logged in, you will get all that agent state callback messages through this comment mechanism, right? So here they tell us, like what will be the response and uh, what will be the response and how we should send the request. All that is documented, but this entire thing is encapsulated in a form of library, and that's what they're calling it as, client library. And that one basically they put it in here in the GitHub. It is like open source, anybody can download it and use it. So I also use the same one, but there is a lot of support for Java based approach. For C Sharp based approach, not much. So basically this is the one, the workspace client Java. This is the library, but they have one for .NET also. I used this one. So this one. So this had some issues. Like earlier when I downloaded, it had some build issues and it was missing some chat related implementation. Other than that, for voice bot, it looked good. Yeah. So
So the same library for both voice and chat.
yes, for
Okay.
Java, for Java, they have like well-written code, I think tested code, and they had API for both. Oh, sorry, not this one. Sorry, they had API for both voice and chat. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, so here if you go, they have a class for chat API and they have a class for like a voice. And if you are interested in some other details, like if you wanted to get some report and something like that, yes, they do have some other reporting API and things like that. But our interest is only the chat and the voice. And this workspace is like mimicking the desktop agent workspace, So this via this workspace, we can either go to voice ready or a chat ready, you know. So yeah, if someone goes through this documentation and this help file and all that, it's all fairly documented well. They also tell us. They also gave some example like how to use it and all that here itself. So this is a Java one, but yeah, this same thing for the .NET also. It's the same thing. Yeah, this one, but it's a .NET project. Yeah, so I picked this one, and sorry, what's still going to? Yeah, one moment. Yeah, so this one. Yeah, so this is the .NET projects. Yeah, so here like under API section, chat API and all. Yeah, so I mean, if the person is I mean, right now our HVA code base is completely on C#. So that's why, we have to use C#1. If that changes, then Java, in the documentation itself, they say that Java is well tested and used by few clients, whereas C#1 is not tested well. That's what they are claiming. But yeah.
So you were using that C sharp and
Yeah.
ported something that was not present in C sharp. You ported that from Java.
Java. Yeah. Only for the chat part.
Mhm.
Okay.
For
So if I
voice, it's purely taken from C sharp, right?
C#. Yeah. Correct.
For for chat, it's a combo or it's totally whatever you created ported from Java.
Ported from Java. Yeah. It is like
Everything.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's just one class. It's not really a lot. It's just a
Hmm.
one class. Somehow in the C# library, they didn't have that code at all.
Hmm.
So I thought why it is missing. So then based on the
It's not
search and all that,
WebSocket, it's something else.
it's a simple C# classes. I can show you that source code as well. That source code is also part of our Git, our HVA code base.
Hmm.
So we put it in this location, so we have packages, and then here like Genesis Pure Engage library source code. So we added some kind of a README text to go through exactly, what these projects are and how we what we because uh, because like what I did is I built this, I downloaded from GitHub and I built this, generated a DLL out of it, and that DLL is being referenced in the HVA code. So we never ship this source code. We never keep this source code as a part of HVA main build. We only need DLL, right? We don't.
Hmm.
If we found any issues in the DLL itself or in the library source itself, and that's when we come here, we open this project, and then we can fix it here because it's a straightforward C# code. So and then we generate the DLL and re-reference, fix it and then reference it back in HVA and move on. Or if we wanted to debug it instead of like a release build DLL, we can also add this code into a HVA code base in the local development machine, do the debugging and all that, Once it's fixed and remove it from the project, don't suck it into a TFS, and then Git, and then move on. So yeah, I can kind of open this and I can show you. Yeah. So this is that downloaded code. So
so what you are saying is some missed portion of C# code. So you implemented from the Java open source code. Is that correct?
copied and converted to C#. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now, the library that we are referencing is completely C#. There is no, yeah. So this is that code downloaded directly from the GitHub. So it has, different API for, yeah, this class was missing earlier. So I basically referred it from the Java code and copied it. But as far as voice API is concerned, everything was there. I just have to build it and use it. And this has a login method. And if you see, we can go into this login method like login voice. And when we go into that, it has a reference to that voice login. These are all REST API, and that was documented in their website itself. Like here, like yeah, here, like not this one. This is a workspace API, but they have a voice API for login. So basically, maybe somewhere here. Okay, yeah. So this one, the login. So if we don't want to use that library at all, we can take this approach also. Simply, we will make a web API request and then look for the response. The challenging part is like not sending a request to Genesis, receiving the callback. That receiving the callback, because like other areas like Cisco has out of the box XMPP notification component, and for Avaya we had a WebSocket. Those are easy to implement, but here they use some kind of a duplex communication component, that is that Comet D, that is also open source. But the problem is it's not somehow connected with this REST API as a part of REST API. So that's why we discussed in the beginning, me and Vladimir.
So
we
it's
decided
like Cisco. One way is the REST API, the other way is XMPP libraries. In here it's Comet D, right?
Comet D, right?
Instead of XMPP.
XMPP or a WebSocket, yeah, or a yeah. But with Pure Engage, it was very nice. Pure Engage library was released by Genesis itself. That's why they were able to bundle up that callback mechanism as a part of that library itself. But whereas here in this cloud part, the library itself, it's not implemented by Genesis. Like it was implemented by community, like a GitHub community, and it was tested. And then, now they're trying to reuse it from here for Java and C#. Yeah.
So instead, just one more time, instead of Comet D, what mechanism we use?
We have to write our own mechanism to retrieve the callbacks. If we don't wanted to use library, like, because this library can get complicated sometime if it doesn't work. Because if you look at their coding, the C# coding, it's like they implement it in a very generic way, and they use like a REST sharp to send the HTTP request to this REST APIs, and and yeah, so that's how they are doing it. And once it succeeds, they send some sort of a notification, like a from the code itself, but internally that also calls a Comet D and all that. So that's why this Comet D component is here. Yeah.
It's present.
So, yeah. So fairly complex.
So you would say you execute that login command, and how you get that notification that devices agent login.
Yeah, that is as a part of this library will send some. Oh, one moment. This library will send some kind of a call, like a throw if not. Yeah, this one throw if not. Okay, this one will send some kind of a call back. This is an error one, but in case of not non-error, it will send like this, like DN state changed, call state changed, if user related data changed, something like that. So this callback mechanism, we will map it in our code. Let me show our code now, like in HVA, how we are calling this. So it's, yeah, if the library works, it's only 2 lines of code, but if it doesn't work, then it can be, so what we are doing is
So I mean, it remains to be checked whether it works or not, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So in this, I use like a authentication API and get the token. Once the token is done, once the token is received, that will be used across all the requests, like making it ready, not ready, and all that. And here, the voice login part. So what it does is, like, we will call this workspace library method. Once this succeeds, then this would send some kind of a callback mechanism, receive notifications. Yeah. So based on what changed, one of these will get executed. Either call state changed, or the user event received, like changing from ready to not ready and so on. If the call state is basically talking, alerting, that sort of thing. The DN state and these things are not required. DN state not required. I just handled it because they are sending this callback, so I handled it. But ours is only 2 things we need to worry about it. And these are all like well documented in that GitHub, like how you would call and how you would receive messages. So if you go back here, when we go back here, they have provided. Oh, earlier they provided some examples here. Maybe we can go through this readme.txt also. Somewhere I did had all the examples, how to call and how to receive the messages back and yeah. So these are all events, like in the DN related events, call related events. What all events can come through in that message, like here in this message, what it could be, because it could be dynamic based on what is changed in the DN level, what is changed in the call state level, and what is changed in the user level. So yeah. So yeah, I think basically, yeah, the source code is already in our Git in our HVA code base. So we can straight away build this and then reference the DLL.
So this is whatever we see right now is a part of the HVA solution, or it's just in a different project?
It is no. This one the library, the Genesis Pure Engage Cloud library, it is not a part of HVA solution. In the yeah, it is because it's I think this is an open source. I don't think we can ship it. So this is part of our, like where we keep all our third party libraries, like CSV helper, some of those.
So it's under Git, and under
it's
GitLab. Can
yeah,
you
it's
please
under
send
GitLab.
the link to this project as well, just in case? So
Yeah,
not,
it's
not
under
to create it from scratch. If something needs to be rapidly.
it's also under Git. Like if you go to Git, like I can send you, like you just so So here we go to like here. So it's under the package folder. Like that's what we have to remember. It's not a part of a main HVA solution. In the main HVA solution, we are only referencing that library. But if we wanted to access the source code, we wanted to go to this package section, and here it is there. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll put this in the chat. Not yet. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah. So how in HVA solution, like we reference it. I'm referencing those two library, and then after that, this external workspace, internal workspace, we cannot access it directly, but the external workspace library needs it. So we only use external workspace that has all those API like login, ready, not ready, all that. Like I already show logged in, and now we go to set ready, and this is what this is a command, and this command comes from that this workspace, that library. So yeah, so it's basically I mean C#, straightforward approach. The challenging part is what the problem is, like what if this library itself doesn't work? Because we need to collect, of course, all the required input, the REST, the cloud API, the Genesis cloud API URL and all that. And then of course the client key, there are some mandatory parameters like that client has to give to connect to the Genesis Pure Engage cloud. And those are documented in that the first section, like here, like what all data we need to collect from a customer to connect to their Engage cloud, Pure Engage cloud. One thing I remember, I think it was client ID, and then some cases we also need to collect username and password. Once we have that details, so let me show that config file. This is for Genesis Cloud, right? Yeah, this one. So we need basically their server details and then their API key. We also need their username and password. There is a, oh yeah, if they have a client level access permit, I think they will, because one is general username and password, and then the client specific username and password. Yeah, so these 4 details they provide. I mean, whenever we wanted to test this, or with a real customer in production environment, they provide these details, and then we use that to connect to that API.
And all that with that multi-cloud lab that we are trying to obtain from Genesis, that set of APIs should probably work, right?
Yeah,
because they keep changing names. That like Pure Engage Cloud versus multi-cloud. That the
multi-cloud.
same
Now they are
APIs.
calling, now they are calling it as a multi-cloud, but even in that GitHub, the GitHub repository, they are calling it as a multi-cloud. But yes, but the library, they didn't expose a separate library. It is still the same library. So I'm guessing it should, or or even if it is different, I still feel it is this one. Yeah, not this one. I think this is that same page. Sorry, I think there is another. In their GitHub repository, they are calling it something called a multi-cloud so CX, like a contact center. They change the name a little bit. So if you yeah, this one they are calling it now. Earlier it was Pure Engage Cloud, but now it's been changed to multi-cloud contact center extension by Genesis. So So I'm guessing, but down the line, the libraries are still same. They provide JavaScript based library, Java based library, and then C# and HTML based libraries. So that the internal implementation also not changed. So yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So with that, we have only code written, nothing tested.
Correct. Yeah, nothing tested.
Because,
And then the
mhm,
approach, the approach that we took is we went through their website and we followed everything what they are saying. There's only two approach as of now. Either you use SDK libraries or we can directly use this REST API. We can go from there. Now we know that like in Cisco side we did um, manual polling, right? The timer based polling. um, we can probably extend that approach even here also. The actual request, we can basically send it through the regular REST API call, and then we can have our own separate polling mechanism to retrieve the messages. But it is again, it's our own, maybe error prone, but so it's so we can leave it to how we wanted to implement based on our needs. But yeah, it's out there.
mhm.
So yeah, because earlier we didn't think about this. Why can't we implement our own polling mechanism? Because they were kind of the commodity is the well tested and proven component and easy to integrate and all that.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Okay.
So is there any question on this topic, or we'll move to the other one? Those are fairly relatively simple topics: config files and RabbitMQ Erlang updates.
Sounds like no questions.
No questions. Okay.
Mhm.
So we'll go to config files. Okay. So in the config file, we have like let me show it from here in the folder. So whenever we install HVA, we create a folder called config. Under config, um, we have two or three folders. One is like a scripts. We have all that call behavior scripts. I think we talked about earlier also. It's a simple a text file, which will basically list out the commands in one command per line. So that's the format. So that, and then this is a call behavior scripts. And then the another section is the agent config. So agent config is placed under server underscore one config. So this extension has some like it will kind of tell us, when we say HVC, it is a Cisco agents. And when we see G, it is basically a Genesis agents. Now, if it starts with like a G and a C, it's basically Genesis Cloud. And this is like Avaya agents. So if I open it, we can see the format. So for Avaya agents, the required details are this, like minimum, they need to provide like agent ID and a password and behavior and group. This is Avaya. Now, if we go to like Genesis, oh, oh, sorry, looks like this is pretty old. One moment. Sorry, yeah, that was old. Yeah, I went into a wrong folder. So here, this is the Avaya Cisco agents. So we need login name also. That is we recently implemented for SSO, and the chat ID for the chat uh, if chat is enabled. And these parts are mostly for um, voice. Agent ID, password, extension. The behavior and group is our own implementation. So we can define how the behavior is like, like answer, wait, ready, or answer, wait, transfer, then
Uh,
ready. Yeah, or all that.
so, so the name will be always agent config, correct? For
Uh,
all the
Correct. Only thing is the extension is going to differentiate. Yeah. So, this one is Genesis Cloud, and this one is like a Pure Engage, Genesis Pure Engage, and this one is like Cisco, and then another one will be AH. Yeah, this one is for Avaya. So how we decide, HVA can work with only one system at a time. We cannot have like both Genesis and Cisco enabled at a time. So that configuration is going to be here. Like so here we have like a system level config that will give that also follows the same notation based on the extension. In all the config, we will have one column called active. So out of 4, which one is active right now? That's what is going to tell us like is either we are using currently like a Cisco or a Genesis or etc. So
System.config dot this also based on the extension only it will work, is it?
right, yeah.
So
It
HVC
will.
means Cisco, is it?
HVC means Cisco, and then if it is a HVC means Avaya. G means like a Genesis. Yeah, we kind of named it based on this pattern. Because initially it was developed for only Cisco, and they named it like a Hammer Virtual Agent (HVC). But then we started implementing more and more. So to follow it in the same pattern, we implemented that way. So yeah, so here mainly the system config, which is going to tell us the server details, meaning like Genesis, Cisco, Avaya, and then RabbitMQ related configs. And there is one more config that is for the system parameters. We use like so many system parameter. Logging is enabled or not, logging level, but they're pretty basic and then self-explanatory mostly. So these are like, based on the requirement and based on, which type of system that HVA is interacting, like Cisco versus Genesis. Each system has its own specific system parameter. Some of them are exposed via user interface where customer can change it. Some of them are not, mostly internal to the application. So for example, this statistic frequency. So what it does is like how frequently the agent state should get updated. How many agents are logged in, logged out, that statistic.
No,
Again,
it means how frequently the information, statistical information about agent states, not the agent state. It doesn't update the agent state per se. It shows like statistics on
current state. Yeah. Yeah. It won't
So
send any backend.
it's a kind of asynchronous, and depending on that time, it may take some time before that GUI will be updated after you actually change the agent state. It may take, like in this case, up to 10 seconds before it will be shown on the screen, not instantly. So don't be confused. So it may take some time before you see that change on the screen.
Right. So yeah, so each I mean 26
Could you
commands.
comment on that? The latest changes, like
yeah.
starting
So here, So here
web
the
request connection limit, and after that.
Okay. Web request connection limit. Yeah. So the web request connection limit, we had to add it for this. I think we had to add it for the Cisco one. For the
Cisco
Cisco chat.
chat.
For the Cisco chat. Let me double check it quickly. What happened is like we sent HTTP request because it's a HAR file based approach. So what happened is like some of the uh, okay, so we name it like this, even though, yeah. So here, so what happens is like by default, every web request is times out in like two, 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 2 minutes or some 2 seconds, or maybe 20 seconds. I'm not sure. So we wanted to prolong that. I mean, we wanted to extend that default behaviors in the HTTP in the standard .NET class. So yeah, that's where and this is only required for Cisco because it was taking a lot more time compared to Avaya or any other thing. That's why we made it as a parameter, and when we made it as a 10-minute wait, then it started working. So yeah, so like that, so. And this is not required for any other system. It is only required for Cisco. So we thought, put it into a part of system parameter. Yeah. So similarly, that one, and then, yeah, this is the current config file delimiter. So mostly in US, the config files are comma separated. So if you look at any agent config or any of these are all comma separated. But what happens is this comma separated thing, it was not working in ENG, like in England and France and so on. If they change this delimiter to something else, like a semicolon or something like some other delimiter, and it was not working. So we thought like, by default, it will be comma. And we always read it from that system local, like from Windows local settings. And if it is different than this one, the comma, we update the delimiter. We basically take the backup of comma separated, and then we create a new config files programmatically by replacing comma with whatever the separator they set it from their based on their Windows operating system and local, regional and all that. It's a simple thing. We read it from the Windows. So yeah. And this keep alive interval 300 seconds, 5 minutes. This is also for like Genesis Wells Fargo thing. So did we talk about this or no? So basically with Wells Fargo, they have some issues like they had some issues like they do a system update every week on a particular day on a particular time. And after that, the automatic restart was not working. And the connectivity between Genesis backend and connectivity between Genesis server and the HVA get lost. So that is one case. And even if they don't, due to long inactivity, like, they access the HVA and they don't do anything for, let's say, 10, 20 minutes or maybe 30 minutes, still the connectivity between HVA and Genesis were lost. So we use this keep alive mechanism to make sure that every 5 minutes we send some kind of a health check between HVA and health, the Genesis server. Yeah, this is only used for Genesis thing. And then this one, command delay. These two are like mostly internal. What we did is like we wanted to automatically lock in the agents. So when we automatically lock in the agents, we don't want to send, like, let's say 10 agents. We don't want to send all 10 agents at one go. We wanted to put some delay between between the agents, before we
Some
like log in.
staggering,
Correct,
right?
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, staggering. Yeah, we wanted to put some kind of a staggering delay between the agent logins, so that the Genesis server don't get overwhelmed, because they were kind of saying that it will be like 200 plus agents. Sometime it can be more, so. And this one also we talked about, like Cisco SSO implementation, like versus like a cloud lab versus um, the actual UWM customer. So their
So we
hard file.
have similar to what we had with Avaya. We had like free Cisco code-based lab where Sankar developed all the code, and we have the actual what production lab from the
Right.
customer, and they're different slightly. So the hard files are different in there. So to be able to work in both places, if you don't need to, no, it is set by default to the customer setting, right?
Correct.
If we need
So
to go to there, we need to change it to 0 if we go to the lab.
right. Yeah. So I think in the very first day we talked about it, like
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So this is like maybe not required, but since the cloud lab implementation and the customer lab implementation, they're not exactly same, and we strictly follow that hard file sequences, and that did solve our problem. So that's why we had to introduce this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay. I mean, the config files are very straightforward. Even if someone doesn't understand, if we go to the code and see and search in the code, it is mostly, it's very easy to comprehend that. So let's go the the RabbitMQ and Erlang. Okay, upgrade issues. Yeah. So with the RabbitMQ and Erlang, we use for communicating between, like this like here in the .NET application, it's everything is a component. Everything is a component, and they don't want it to communicate directly. So the HVA client will get notification from HVA core and HVA notifier, and vice versa. The core and notifier will get a notification from HVA client, and the centralized thing is the via the RabbitMQ. Okay, that's the strategy. I think they used it in Cloud Lab, Cloud Platform as well. So probably they extended the same architectural pattern even here also. So okay, so that's why the RabbitMQ came into picture. Now there's been a lot of things going on with the RabbitMQ. They are upgrading the RabbitMQ library and so on. So right now, what version that we use is something like 5 point something. Yeah, 5.0. Um, this is this is basically I would say this is basically on the code level, but in reality they use some other terms, like they use like a 3.16 and 3. So the Erlang version is like a 23.0, and then for RabbitMQ server they use 3.8.6. So when suppose like tomorrow, if there is a requirement comes, let's say 3.9 or maybe 4.0 or something, all we have to do is, like, we don't have to do anything with our HVA, because HVA will work with the lower version of RabbitMQ and the higher version of RabbitMQ. But if some customer wants that, I don't want HVA to install the particular version, um, maybe if they are expecting that it needs to install the latest version, then that's where the code change is required. Even a code change in the sense it's only on the installer level, not on the C# code base. Sometime it may required in the code base also, but that how we find out is like we wanted to look at this NuCat package for RabbitMQ. And if it is a higher version of library, and they will basically document, that will work on what all version. So let's go to installed here. So here, so this 5.2 is the latest one. Oh no, okay. So there were so many came. So, but what we are using is 5.2.0. So maybe now this is an indication, because in the .NET NuCat package itself, there are so many new NuCat package came, and each one will kind of tell us what changes and all that. Now there is already a ticket. They wanted to upgrade this RabbitMQ to another version. I think there is one Jira ticket. Let me check that. I think. So yeah, so basically what, so I'm kind of walking through the steps. Like if we wanted to upgrade the RabbitMQ versions and Erlang thing in HVA, first we upgrade here. First we upgrade our, the client, the NuCat package library to the latest, and then go and download the latest. Here there is one ticket logged for that. Yeah. So here 3.8 point. So there was a ticket. They want us to upgrade to 3.9. Customer specifically want us to upgrade to 3.9. So the solution that I provided is uninstall whatever RabbitMQ and Erlang that HVA installs, and install whatever version that customer prefers to install it manually. Okay, not through installer, not through HVA installer. Once that is done, HVA was worked with this 3.9.0. But now there is a rapid change, like let's say 4.0, RabbitMQ 4.0 or a higher. That may not work without changing in the C# code base. Upgrading that NuGet library to a higher one. So in that case, the change is required both in code as well as in the installer. We right now how installer
Why
gets.
you think it may require code changes?
Sometime like for example 3.8.6, right? Now if we upgrade to 3.9 or a 3.9.5, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, this this NuGet package that we are referencing it here,
Mm-hmm.
this one may not support that library, the new one. So here also, if you see this RabbitMQ.client that we use, that kind of there were a lot of upgrades. We are using 5.2.
That's what I mean by code changes. I thought
right,
you need to different APIs or something change in
correct.
terms of how we access the queue. Okay, I see.
Right, yeah. So there is a little bit of a,
so it
so
won't
the
support backward compatibility, is it?
it does the backward compatibility. So if you
But
move
if
to
any
6.
new features,
We are not I mean mostly these components have some security vulnerability upgrades so far, but if we are using particularly any of those new features like RabbitMQ, like for example like shoveling or some advanced feature, then yes, then it won't work in the backward compatibility manner. But right now we are using like pretty basic functionalities. We basically read the message out of the queue and then process it. That's it. So yes, yeah. So you are right. I mean, the backward compatibility, it is like very context sensitive. Like if you are really using some of the new functionality, then yeah, accordingly we need to take care of it, both sides. Yeah. So that's like in general thing, and particularly with this context in this demo point. I mean, this is like I so far I only talked about general thing, but what problem that we face mostly with RabbitMQ and Erlang is when we try to install it in a different drive, like non-default drive. So yeah, before to that, we always ship the the what version we install along with the default HVA installer. We always ship that as a part of a build, and that is right now here actually. Yeah, so right now these two components. So tomorrow, for example, we wanted to move it to the installer itself. It should install 3.9 or whatever. So yeah, we have to download it and update it here so that installer will pick up the latest one. And some
What is
installer
that?
changes.
What is that? The first one, Win6423.0.
That's Erlong.
Oh,
Do
That
we
is a
do we need to change something in the installer if you update that to a new
I,
version, or it's automatically picked?
I think we have to update it because these files are like ha, you know referred by file name. Now, for example, let's say 3.9.0.exe, then the installer will still look for older one. It won't ship the
Mm-hmm.
new one. So yeah, so there is always we always have to discuss with Pranav and so yeah, so it goes installer update and the code update. Code update, uh, you know, if you put a new one and if it works, HVA works with no changes, then we are good. Code update wise, we just have to put this new executables and check it into a Git, and then pipeline will automatically pull the latest one, and then it will build and deploy it. But that minor change in the installers also need to be done,
Mm-hmm.
referencing those new files versus old file. Okay, so that is that. And the main, I mean, that is like a basic, very basic of like how .NET project can use the RabbitMQ, Erlang, and so on. So
Do you
now
have
here,
any document on how you actually deal with those issues when updating, like something is not properly uninstalled from that Erlang, so you have to clean everything up, remove something from the registry, and then
right.
install from scratch. Those kind of steps or
Correct, yeah.
document.
It is a part of our online help, HVA online help, and the release notes also, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let me, yeah. So if it is a part of online help, let me show you here, like, we have like, I think more, few questions, like a few frequently asked questions, FAQ on that. And then it kind of talks about like how to uninstall, what registry needs to be cleaned up. And one more thing, it is not only in our part, it is also available in the internet. If someone can kind of, Google around it and how to troubleshoot it. Yeah, that is also there. But yeah, but we also document it here. Yeah. So based on our, our scenarios, like, how to
So
troubleshoot,
that's
like,
up to date. And if somebody, Jeff Minch said that he fails to update, then we can simply address him to this online help, and it should work for him.
correct, yeah. But yeah, this is pretty straightforward. But if they miss one or these steps or something, if they executed back or forth or something, then this gets very tricky. Like, so they get into a inconsistent mode. So yeah, so that time, they have to pay very close attention to, these things. So that's the
So,
thing,
but your observation, you conducted
See,
a number of such exercises.
right.
So they kind of it works. Nothing like manual
It,
steps that
correct,
we may
correct.
have missed in here. Nothing exists. You should simply follow that.
Right, yeah. But recently we discovered one more issue that when they install it, they didn't have an admin right, and they were also installing it into a non-default drive. Instead of C drive, they were installing it into a different drive. It had some access issue, and then this home path variable, this home drive variable was not set properly. Yeah, those things sometime, we may have to case by case basis, like we can kind of run those commands in their, like, home drives are properly set, the installation folders are like, if for example, like, uh, if there are no installation issue with the RabbitMQ server and the Erlang, we can actually check the directory and make sure that it is okay, you know. So those things are even documented, but you know, it is easy to you know, miss those points, you know. So for
So is
example,
a
like
normal
in
Windows installer or any other,
it's a normal
any
Windows installer. Yeah, uninstall installer exe. So it's a setup and yeah. So it's a
okay.
yeah, normal. But only thing is the customer's environment, you know, right now, most of the people will have admin rights and all that. But in the customer environment, what happens is they give some specific username and password. And when they log in, their home drive, instead of C drive, it will change it to it will change it to some kind of a map drive. Okay. So that happens, that creates some kind of a you know, the permission issue. Whenever RabbitMQ server installs, it puts some kind of a cookie, Erlang cookie, and all that, and that has to be written into the drive where home drive is set. Generally, it will when we install this installer itself, the RabbitMQ installer itself, it has some bug or something. You know, it's an open source one, right? So it is always trying to write it into a C drive, whereas the home drive is set to some E drive or a D drive or you know, something else. And if that cookie gets written into C drive, but the installer itself, the RabbitMQ itself, it got installed into a non-C drive, then things gets then the RabbitMQ service won't start. So then that is a time, you know, we have to do some kind of a manual troubleshooting, like stop RabbitMQ service, you know, run some kind of a repair commands. That all part of that all part of this RabbitMQ server installer itself, RabbitMQ server source folder itself. Let me show you here. Like, you know, if you go here, like here, there is some SBin folder where they have so many batch files, and in each of these batch files have multiple commands bundled in it. So you know, we can stop the service and set the home drive and restart the service and repair and so many yeah, so many things. And those are all, like, again, you know, the good point is open source and it's available in the internet itself. It's just a question of you know, uh, uh, searching for specific problems. Yeah, so most of them are documented, but so far we didn't have any major issues. But sometime, like a PSO team get stuck into the loop and they were not able to resolve by themselves, so they involve us to resolve it. So, those are like documented here. Most of the well-known issues are documented here. For example, you know, fail to communicate with the RabbitMQ server, how to troubleshoot, you know, these things. Yeah, so we provided the steps, you know.
And we have a
Basically,
same paragraph in release notes, or it's something different in there.
it's a same paragraph in the release notes. Yeah. And then there is another thing where, you know, how to troubleshoot Linux service if it is installed in non-default drive. You know, yeah. So we have, I think, a couple of yeah, two thing that covers most of it. You know, most of RabbitMQ issues. Most of the, I mean, 90% of the customers install it on C drive, where we never faced any issues with the admin privileges. But if they don't have admin privileges, and if they are using it, if they are installing HVA and RabbitMQ Erlang, everything with a different access permission, then this problem is there. Yeah, we may run into a problem. It's not you know, every time, but yes. So yeah. So is there any other questions, or maybe we can stop it here and then we can continue on Monday?
Yeah, it's a good time to stop, I guess.
Yeah.
If nobody checks, I'm stopping recording.
Okay.
And there was a question.